What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Podcast News Award winner and 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association, and also once a month. I host the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Care. It's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization, and I am also the board chairman of the Global Food and Drink Initiative. It is a multimedia nonprofit that highlights Blacks in the diaspora that are involved in food, wine, and travel. We're broadcasting live on February 12th, and it's never-ending week when it comes to American politics. And you know the two people you need to plug into, they're back. They're always here on making Friday nights funny and frivolous. Funny and frivolous Fridays. We have Aisha K. Staggers and Jill D. Jones. What's going on, ladies?
It's great.
Hi.
It's great. It's great. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yeah.
It's been entertaining.
Yes.
When isn't it?
Day.
I know.
When isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. It's been like this for a while.
How are things going on in both your lives and your families?
Oh, families and lives are good.
Knock on wood,
Mhm.
you know, hanging in there, trying to do the
Yeah.
best we can.
Okay. And Jill,
That's the best part.
you played some tennis today?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yes, with my husband, we went out and it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining. I was double masked. That's a lot. But
Yes.
Yeah, it was good to just get the old legs moving because I was getting tired sitting in my chair. Like I was getting, chair body.
Chair body.
I had chair body.
Okay. So I know you are a big tennis fan. Any predictions for the Australian Open?
What a crazy event this time with the Australian Open. I know that last night, I think Team was playing with Nick, what's his face, and my husband fell asleep on that one. I mean, because of the hours, we're trying to keep up. But I mean, I don't really know because this year it's so strange with all the rules and having to quarantine, and they weren't allowed to play at all when they were quarantining. So, everybody's, it's going to be hard to say. But there's some good tennis still being played. But they did put them through the ringer this year with that. Australia's got very intense rules on their quarantining. So and I think something happened where somebody's quarantined again, like somebody got COVID and something happened.
What happened? I just heard recently that there are no fans now because they found someone with COVID or the numbers have accelerated.
Yeah.
So there's no fans again.
No fans. That's hard. That's always hard. And that's why there's been some really interesting rising stars coming out of this. I thought the Tsitsipas game the other day, I forgot, with the young Australian guy was really good. That went into 5 sets or so. But that was a good one to watch because I thought Tsitsipas was going to lose and he came back.
Any hope for Serena?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many young girls coming through that are, do I think she's going to beat Margaret Court's? All of her stats. I know the other day people were saying, oh, Margaret, Serena should be the GOAT. This was particularly after Tom Brady won and they were like Serena Williams. But a lot of people don't realize, yes, Serena can play, but the men, the top 100 men, they're pretty powerful. And yes, she could probably beat them. I'm not 100% sure, but people forget Margaret Court still has the most titles, like with doubles and singles and then the Grand Slam. She had the most, and I don't know if she'll make it. I don't know. What do you think?
I personally, I thought she should have cut it off a while back.
Yeah, I do too, kind of. I hate to say it. I mean, it's nice she keeps trying and, but the younger girls that are coming are just playing differently. I mean, you also they're turning. You know how they're doing the rackets now. They're handling it differently. So we really are seeing a changing of the guards across the board.
And also, they're not intimidated by her.
No, they're not. Not from her last games.
Yeah,
no.
like I just think she should just cut it off right now. It's all good, no problem. Like I'd like her to win another one, but the more she plays,
it's unlikely that she'll win one again. Like unless everybody's sick and out of school that day.
But the thing is, wasn't it the U.S. or something? Everyone either lost and she couldn't do it.
That's true. She didn't do it then either, and she did have an advantage then. Yeah, it's true.
So before we put Aisha to sleep with tennis, let's get to the main thing we're chatting about tonight. So, ladies, impeachment time. Impeachment time.
Here we are.
Where do we start?
Second time around, impeachment time.
It's important that we have this impeachment. I don't think the Republicans are going to definitely not convict him. I don't think any of them have the integrity or the balls. And I don't think it's only because they're trying to remain loyal to his base. I also feel like they're in cahoots still because they want to protect his assets and protect him per se. I also feel that what's important is that we have this on record for anybody else who wants to, for the Josh Hawleys in the world who are coming along, who are going to want to pull this stuff. This is the only way. Also, it really aligns and helps all of the other jurisdictions as well to see all of these little cases and all these stories. And it will help other cases and who votes against him or votes for him. It's going to be very key because I do believe there will be criminal charges somewhere along the way. And a few of them are already complicit in a lot of the corruption. So they're not going to vote against themselves. But if they think it's going to go away, it's not.
I think what I'm seeing as I watch this trial is more evidence that Trump is a criminal.
How much more did you need?
Well, no, because
really,
I know.
I mean, obviously,
the scope.
Obviously, we knew that, but the proof is that he hired a criminal attorney. His attorney talks like he is used to defending criminals.
I heard he was an injury attorney, is what I just read from Abby on CNN. One of them is an injury. Michael Van Der Deen is a.
Is he? He's used to defending mob guys. He talks like a mob guy.
She said, as a reminder, Michael Van Der Deen is a personal injury lawyer.
He talks like he is used to defending mob guys.
You have a personal injury lawyer defending you in a case like that?
Yeah, because Trump always likes to later on cancel it out that he didn't get represented properly. So he always sets it up with the ugliest girl at the party. I had the ugliest girl at the party, and because he brought them,
So he cannot pay him later.
Yeah, he won't pay him even if it was like
properly defend me.
Exactly.
But I mean, in addition to that, I'm seeing how desperate this man is to really still try to reclaim the presidency. As if he still has a chance. As if Joe Biden hasn't been sworn in, holding his job for 3 weeks. It's like, there's still a chance. After we get past this whole impeachment thing, I'm still going to be, sworn in. Joe Biden's just a stand-in for right now.
Right.
I mean, he's going to hold on to this thing. And the funny part about it is that in proving that, in defending him against not using insightful rhetoric, they're using insightful rhetoric.
Mm-hmm.
That's his defense. His defense is insightful rhetoric. Defend against insightful rhetoric.
So let's break it down here. Let's talk about the presentation by the Democrats. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was fantastic because for me, it was just a recap of the day, but, once accumulating not only the footage that various people had from the actual event, but also there was more of the CCTV footage. And you
Yeah.
could, and I love the model that they had, which would have the little red dot showing you sort of the map of where the senators and where Congress was during this electoral process and where the insurrectionists were. So you could see the timing. And I thought that was a damn effective way to present it, because you could really see that even with the Secret Service shooting that one lady, he had no choice. I mean, no, it all sort of just came together. I think that the other components, I think Senator Plaskett or Representative Plaskett is awesome. She and Jamie Raskin are killing it. In fact, I think they're all doing a really fine job because they've set it up where they've created the timelines. And now the biggest gap, which even Trump's stupid attorneys fell into the hole, was the whole of what did he do from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock before the National Guard was called. They fell right into the trap because it was laid out. And in typical Trump fashion, they have to come out and say that somebody doctored the evidence, not even bringing any proof to dispute it. And what baffled and boggled my mind is that you have an attorney defending his client by the tweets that he put out. I mean, one would think that you're working in an office for all intent and purposes. It's an office. The White House, it's government. You would think there would have been a memorandum to somebody that said, hey, I want security covering the whole Capitol. There's nothing. They're going by a tweet. I'm like, what kind of work have these people been doing all damn 4 years? There's nothing. No secretary typed up something to send to the DOJ, to the Pentagon, to anybody, to Capitol Police. And for me, the other trigger thing for me was when everyone's like going, well, where was he? He was asked, the question and answer thing came along, and it didn't look like Trump's attorneys knew that was going to happen. And they were a little thrown. And then the questions were coming from different senators and different people asking, where was Trump? When did he know that Pence's life was in danger? And what was so interesting, they're saying his attorney said he never knew. So either Secret Service failed to do their jobs, which it's hard to believe that the same Secret Service that took our United States president into a bunker during the Black Lives Matter protests is the same Secret Service that let him hang out for 3 or 4 hours while they were ushering Pence away. So for me, the only reason, and there were bombs as well, pipe bombs found, and they let the president stay out of a bunker. I mean, even protocol, always. We saw how fast in 9/11 they swooped up George W. Because if they're claiming Antifa was there, then how would you know that those people attacking the Capitol weren't there for you, Donald Trump? How would you know that unless you knew what you were doing? So for me, those were the things that the whole case fell apart, because that's just not the way it rolls. That's not how the game rolls. And they need to call the Secret Service in as witnesses. We need to see what the documentations were, what those communication files are, because they don't have to keep that secret anymore.
For me, the Democrats built a very good case because they started from before the January 6th date to really show piece by piece how he built up the insurrectionists, how he led them to January 6th, how he had been inciting them all along, going back to 2015, and really just in stirring up all of their anger and building loyalty and telling them, you're not a patriot if you don't do this. Patriots do this. I need your loyalty. If you do this for me, or next time if somebody says this or whatever, if you punch them in the mouth or you do whatever, I'll pay your bail, or I'll see this is loyal. And they just kept showing clip after clip after clip, letting him speak, showing tweet after tweet. Rather than saying he did something or saying he said something, they let
Right.
him speak for himself and just built up the case that way. Then they got to just the election, and they showed how at the election and at the election time, he told them, this is what's happening. The election was stolen. I won the election. They didn't win the election. You're being disenfranchised and all this stuff. Then they went to after the election and what happened and how he claimed he won overwhelmingly, even though he didn't, and told the people your vote was stolen. And you have to do something, and we have to do something. And so we're going to do something. And we're going to do something. They showed how he sent out this thing in December. We're going to do something on January 6th. Be
Mm-hmm.
at the Capitol. We're going to take it over. And then they went to the actual day of January 6th and minute by minute showed what happened that entire day. And it was so damning that you had Senator Lee from, I forget what state it was, stand up because he was like, I want to say it on the record that I did not say that. I did not say that. And it was so funny because he actually did say it. Because what
When
was it?
Rudy Giuliani called, right? Or
Yeah, Tommy Tuberville.
Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah, he confirmed that Lee said it, and he wanted this. He started this whole scuffle and everything. It's like, I want it stricken from the record because I did not say those words, and because he knew it would be on public record and
Mm-hmm.
on the record of this particular case that he did. He was there. He was in the room when Trump was notified that Pence had been removed. Okay, because and Tommy Tuberville has stuck to his statement that he told Trump they have just removed Pence. I gotta go, and hung up on Trump. Okay, so we know when Trump knew, and then after, what was it, 13 seconds after he knew,
Yes.
Trump was tweeting that Mike Pence wasn't loyal.
Right.
And so it was kind of bizarre that today Trump's defense attorneys were like, oh, he didn't know. We didn't know. Well, Jill was right to her point that how did they not know? Secret Service couldn't have been doing their job. But here's even clearer point. Ask your damn client.
But I think the Secret Service was doing their job. I just think they
Well,
were
yeah, they
given a
were.
directive. They were
They were.
given a specific directive. And for that to have taken place, there was some form of communication that I'm not going, or I'm going to be fine. There was something because my friend's husband was a Secret Service guy. And they do not ask them when they scoop you up. They like, now for
But
that,
here's the
that's
thing.
just how it goes because it's about the Constitution. That is the person who's in charge. It's not loyalty like, oh, it is boom. They scoop them up. There's
Right.
no way you can. So there was some directive given.
But Trump's attorneys never, it's like they never talked to their client. They never asked him the question, where were you? When did you know it? They never asked those three questions.
They asked, they
And
just never had a great answer. What do you say? I was, picking my
well, here's the
nose.
thing.
What could
I'm
he
gonna
have
tell you
been
why.
doing?
I'm gonna tell you why they didn't ask. Because if they don't ask, they have plausible deniability when they go to lie for him.
Well, they're already saying that the attorney lied for him when he said that he didn't know about Pence, and that is something that they want to dig into further tomorrow.
That just came out tonight because
Tonight.
Pence's people let it leak that.
Yes.
No,
but you
that
can't
he did lie.
There is just no way you can have something happen to the two top people in our government because chains of command go into where they were supposed to. And it's really kind of a shame that they can't parlay into this some of Trump's cronies who are actively participating as well. But I have a feeling that those will be the criminal cases and the cases that come out after General Honore does his, because we know that Steve Bannon was on his podcast January 5th saying the 6th we were going to take back our government. So we there's documentation of this, and this is just greasing. This is the lube. Okay, the impeachment, this situation is the lube of the job that's about to get done on the Republicans, because they are setting themselves into little boxes because they already fell down that hole of like, what was he doing? You know, because we also have seen footage of Kimberly Guilfoyle or whatever her name is and Trump Jr. They were having a party. They were playing YMCA, and no, they were playing Laura Branigan's Gloria. So we could put all of these things side by side. And so, you know, I just have to say another thing about our team, the Democratic team. The Eritrean guy, Nagus from Colorado, he's fantastic. You know, I think that he was a prime litigator. But what I really liked about, even with Madeline Dean and all these they were all very different personalities to appeal to different people that take in different information. But let's not forget how rude the Republicans were during the whole thing, reading other books, sleeping, laying down. And it was like they doth protest too much because they know. But this is, you know, the saddest part of this is the toxicity that has leaked into our country, men and women. And it's sort of at this point, Dr. Vibe, where you have people who they will go with Trump all the way down to the depths and the pits of hell. They use the same twist, like when we were saying they were like Jim Jones, Jonestown. They can't get any original material. They reverse it all. Now we're Nazis. Now we're this, we're that. They cannot get their brains are gone. I mean, I keep saying this, the best thing that could happen, and I shouldn't say it, but these people are useless citizens. They need intense mental help. And it won't work short of a lobotomy, because the damage that Trump has done to the nation, it's going to take decades. So hell no, he should never be allowed to run again. And hell yes, we need to figure out like how to really concentrate on these regions and these areas, and they will try to impeach anybody that we have coming in if they get the House. I'm telling you, or the Senate again, the Republicans, they are a sick party. It is criminal. I mean, all the papers across the world, the globe, are in utter shock still. Shock, because it's true. When they said that about our global international reputation, I forget which guy came forward and said it. It is very, very true. Americans the ones who are staunch Trump reporters, have no purview or eye view of the rest of the world. They are doomed. They are useless. They're write-offs, and they do not understand how it works. And God help us all, because I'm telling you, there's nothing we could do for them. I wouldn't even share a bench with any of them, because I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And I think they're mad as a hatter. They will sit and brood, and there's more to come if we are not careful.
So let me ask here, and I want to shout out to people who are watching live. Please feel free, whatever platform you're watching this live on, to put in your comments. As you see, we're putting them up in real time on our screen. And also, if you have any questions, No problem. I want to shout out to Kim. Shout out to Cinnamon Canella. Thank you so much for dropping by. What have the Republicans done? Like, what have Trump's lawyers done? Have they done anything good? Because I did hear the first day, even I said his name, 45's lawyers. How bad have they been? Because I heard 45 was not happy with the first day, and a number of Republicans said that these guys aren't good.
Forget the first day. You should have seen today. 7 minutes of video of just people saying the word. What was the word, Jill? What was the word that they were saying?
One?
Fight. 7
Fight.
minutes of just different Congress people.
Come on.
No, dead serious. Different Congress people and members of the Senate saying the word fight out of context.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Can't you do better than that?
7 minutes. Oh, and they threw in Johnny Depp and
Madonna.
Who?
Yes. Johnny Depp and Madonna. For 7
and a
minutes.
real big shout out to the Negro comment. I found it because
you found it?
It was during a case that Julian Bond had. And in it, they were referencing this case, and he could have just said black, but he decided to
take us back to
say Negro.
Couldn't you get better lawyers than that?
And then he realized his mistake, though. He's like, "Oh, I meant black," but
it was in the 60s.
It was in the 60s, so I just used the word from the time.
The word that they really didn't call us, to be honest. They weren't calling us Negro either.
So, Jill,
to be honest,
Cinnamon Canella agrees with you saying neither 45's heirs for that matter should run for office.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, if they won't let them in a country club, why would we let them be a president? Seriously, Ivanka can't even she doesn't even have enough money for the country club she's trying to get in, because it's not about the money. It's about, we don't like you. We think you're scum. So that's going to be very interesting for those kids to realize that, and their children.
I want to come back to these hearings what are they proving that isn't already known? Actually, let me put the cap on that for a second. One clip I did see was that black gentleman who was like a savior to everybody, like telling, was it Romney or Pence to tell him to go? Was it Romney to go go the other way? Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Yeah, because it wasn't safe. And then seconds later, there come the insurrectionists.
But what we're learning from this is that even with the Trump's kids, Ivanka and Jared made $634 million, over $500 million. Mm-hmm. That people they're not happy still. They want more. They're an insatiable lot. And I think that a lot of it's going to shift. I mean, we have some interesting maneuvers that are happening even globally. The world's moved on from Donald Trump. I mean, Saudi Arabia is trying to get out of their war with Yemen now. And there's just some little moves that are happening as if Trump didn't exist. And that's another way to take this, that he doesn't exist. And I think the only thing I can think of is the way that he's described. I think we have to change the description of him, that he's this all powerful Oz, when he's not. He's been doing nothing but sucking up food and heat in the White House. The man didn't even have evidence, a memo, a schedule, nothing that your secretary can bring and say, this is where he was. Come on.
Yeah. I think what we take away from this is that you're going to have to obliterate the Republican Party as it is. It's like, blow it up. Because
it's happening already.
Well, no, they're digging really down into this whole thing of being this, because they're not going to convict him. They're going to acquit him,
of course,
and tie their wagons onto him tighter.
Of course.
When you have Marjorie Taylor Greene just pulled off of her committees, they haven't expelled her from Congress. Okay, she's still a hateful woman, and you have Boebert and people like her, and and you've got Matt Gaetz, and Jim Jordan talking about who changed his mind about leaving, talking about they're
Oh,
going to
did he?
talking about they're going to try and elect more people like them to
Well,
Congress. I mean, it tells you that you've it's not the party of old, and it just has to blow up in order to start over.
but
So
there's other things. Is it's about stopping to give media outlets the
Yeah,
platforms to be liars and to shill propaganda. And
yeah,
until we take down places like Fox, Newsmax, and even get to the point where CNN and all of them are a little more rigid and a little less entertaining and just read the freaking news. If we change that, nobody's going to watch it, number one, because Americans are too stupid. They were never interested in Walter Cronkite. I mean, other than the older generations, and they didn't really pay attention. Now they're all interested because it's an entertainment show. It's funny. It's hoo-hoo. But it needs to be stopped because I was reading about in Rwanda when, how the Hutsis and the Tutsis, I might have them wrong, they are both the same kind of people, virtually the same. They were fine. And then what happened is the media and radio and pop stars and people started getting involved, and they created this division, plus with the different militias that came along. And when it finally got resolved in 2005, the international courts, it took them a long time because we know that the genocide in Rwanda was 94, 95, it just went through that period, 98 or some around that phase. The International Court of Rwanda charged the media, their radio stations, their people, their DJs, all of them for pushing the propaganda. And they all got charged and thrown in jail, because I think America has now really grown up like the rest of the other countries in the world. And this is our cross to bear, but we are going to have to do something like that. I think that people should be held accountable for shilling propaganda. China made their comments. It was read what China thought about us, and basically everybody else saying, don't tell us what to do, you hypocrites, because you've got problems there, and now you're going to see what it's like. And they're damn right. Everybody's right.
so let's
however, though,
go ahead,
but
Aisha.
however, this is what our problem is that we hold on to that First Amendment, and that First Amendment without exception gets to be a problem. And that was one of the arguments that Trump's attorneys tried to make today, was that him saying fight and all the insightful words that he's used over his time were examples of freedom of speech, which in the First Amendment, which really shouldn't hold for the President of the United States, only because his words can be taken as direction.
He also took an oath,
Enemies.
which didn't. His oath is even more tiered to just the First Amendment.
Exactly. Because his words can be taken by enemies and allies alike as being gospel and being truth.
But he did it for so long. He did it for so long, for 4 years, that it became normalized that Trump says the most crazy stuff.
Well, like he said, his Twitter account was the official Twitter of Donald Trump.
But they're never giving him a Twitter account again. He's banned for life. Jack and all of them were like, done. And Facebook is now trying to, weasel in, because asking people, do they think he should be allowed back? And it would be like, hell no. If you want to go down as being charged as being complicit, because as far as I'm concerned, Facebook should be charged too, because they allowed ads. The other thing is, I keep saying, algorithms are created based upon what people are searching for. And if they keep searching for like white supremacist groups, that's all they're going to get on there. They're not going to get something about flowers and roses and daisies. They're only going to get filtered to them the hard white supremacist stuff. And it just feeds them more. So you tell me, don't you think people That's not fair. They don't even have an option to find anything enlightening or true.
So let's put a bow on these hearings because probably the next time we go live, they'll be done.
Mhm.
What's the after effect?
I think that after this, you're going to see the Democrats end the filibuster.
Okay.
They're going to be more motivated to end the filibuster.
As
Jill?
they should end the filibuster, because I hope, if anything, they come away from, there should be a penalty for not doing this, first of all, and they need to play hardball like the Republicans do, like children. I mean, we're not going to teach these people anything. They have a mission, and the number one intent for us now is to keep them squashed as much as possible, because the reality is they have one mission in mind, and it's to end democracy as we know it in America. And if you know somebody's out to kill you, why would you let them back in your house?
Okay.
Yeah, I say end the filibuster and get these checks out to people. Just start getting things passed.
Mhm.
All right. Well, let's move on. And before we went live, Aisha, I think, sometimes has a crystal ball, right?
I told
Because
you.
periodically she drops some names and say, keep an eye on this person. Keep an eye on this person. And one of the people she said, keep an eye on is the next conversation piece, Nikki Haley.
I told you about her.
Yeah.
I told you. I told you.
So,
Sure.
Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador for 45, criticizes 45 over Capitol riot and election claims. She says here that his words and actions losing the 2020 election have been badly wrong.
Yep.
Why is she doing that?
2024. That's it.
Yeah.
But she look, if 45 comes back, she gonna have no chance.
He's not coming back.
He won't come back.
Okay, if he don't come back, I think Don Jr. will run.
He may not either.
Please.
He's going to self-destruct.
He's going to jail.
Yeah.
Well, you see now, and so before we get back to Ms. Haley, I was listening to a report today on NPR. I could not believe the number of lawsuits 45 is in right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Like,
Don Jr. is going to jail for a cocaine possession.
oh,
I promise you, he's going to get caught. Like,
okay, let's get back to Ms. Haley.
trying to board a plane or something, and he's going to be like, "I'm the ex-president's son."
Ms. Haley,
They'll get him.
what
I
about
told
Ms.
you about
Haley?
her.
What was Ms. Haley pulling?
She was trying to distance herself away from the mess, because what it was that she saw all those videos, and when they put together how he strung people along all that time, she looked like a fool for following him.
Mm-hmm. She had to make an announcement just to kind of clear her, to get in, so that her last statements wouldn't be the last things she had said. And
Right.
she saw, I guess, a maneuver to get in there, because the one thing is that the Republican Party, it's an all boys club right now. The only thing that could change it is if sensible women come in.
Right.
They will get back normal Republican women to vote again. But it may not even be men, because we're talking women who have jobs and careers, not jobs. Republican women who have careers, and they want, just a simple, normal life. And they're conservative. She made that move. I think she's figured out who she wants her audience to be.
Yeah, Nikki Haley is like, okay. Nikki Haley, if she hung around and she kept hanging around with Sarah Palin, she looked like brilliant compared to Sarah Palin. Okay.
Totally.
She looked like she could have been the next president compared to Sarah Palin. When you're like,
Right.
what was John McCain thinking when he could have had Nikki Haley?
Too threatening.
Her working for Donald Trump is like, what the hell was Nikki Haley thinking?
That was a shocker. It was a shocker for sure.
And now that she hitched her wagon to Donald Trump and defended him the way that she did, it's like Nikki Haley's in crazy town. And then she kept saying crazy things. And you're like, you know what? Nikki Haley is just as crazy as Sarah Palin.
Mm-hmm.
And now I remember when Sarah Palin, because I was still in South Carolina at that time, when Sarah Palin endorsed Nikki Haley for governor. So, yeah. And I'm telling you, I used to watch how Nikki Haley would vote on things when I worked for the Commission for Minority Affairs in South Carolina. And, I would be like, Nikki Haley was a fierce, debater on the floor.
Well, it's pathetic
really
what the
was.
Republican
It
Party
really
has
is.
done to the
It
women in the
is.
party, because now it's just cartoon women. They're not
Yeah.
even real. It's like, I have friends who are conservatives and, and they're super intelligent and, we find a commonality, but this is too much. I mean, they have cartoonish women. You've got the really crazy gun-toting Annie Oakley type Q person, and then you've got the other
you have this
extreme, try to be a sex pot, like from a porn video with the glasses on. That was Sarah Palin. I mean,
you have
but
this
they make
dick like Nikki Haley.
yeah,
I mean,
and then
out of the way
they make these caricatures of women and prop them up, and they have some. You have a Liz Cheney, and I can't still wrap my head around the fact that they tried to get rid of Liz Cheney. I mean, I might not agree with everything she's done, but
they're after her.
That's crazy,
They're
of
after her.
course.
They're after her.
But it's like,
she has a bullseye on her.
But what about the women that in their party, it's like, that relate to that type of woman who worked really hard, who sort of, they don't care. They have thrown a lot of their female supporters to the curb. And it's really, it's the party is just disgusting. It's disgusting. You've got little Nancy, Nancy Graham. I mean, Lindsey Graham, sorry. And I'm sure you meant
to say Nancy Graham. I'm sure you meant to say Nancy Graham. Yeah, really. Yeah, Jill, whatever. Go on. Yeah. Nancy Graham. I'm going forward. We're gonna do Aisha every program now. We're gonna ask Jill. Can we get a Nancy Graham shout out?
Exactly.
But see, and it's interesting because you look at both parties and the importance women, or the lack of importance women have in both parties. Yeah. The Democratic Party, women are very important to that party.
But it took so long.
But the Republican Party, and it just seems to go back to that white male party.
It's the Ku Klux Klan party. And it's really crazy. Those women should just pack up, put on a headscarf, and go make some cider or something, and then bring it back out to them for the hanging, for the lynchings, because they're the ones, they should just all look like they're homesteading and at home making bread or something.
Time out for a second. Let's go back to the trial, the impeachment trial. Mm-hmm. We lost Aisha just for a minute. I'm sure she'll be back, but how? I just asked this question. How can you be a senator and not say that groups of people wanted to hang the vice president of the United States?
Not sure how they were able to even look at each other or look at, they only have one black person in their party that they have to even acknowledge that with, that grinning little so-and-so that, what's the black guy who's the senator? Tim Clark?
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And that's my point. They don't care. and they try to skirt around the issues, and they basically, what they don't say, Dr. Vibe, is really saying everything. The fact that there was a full on, they were ready to,
So,
if they hang people.
so this brings me to a point. So I'm going to go back to the Nikki Haley thing. Then two things. Is there a possibility that we're going to see a Nikki versus Kamala contest in the next presidential election?
She won't make it out the primary.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't even think she'll. No, I was gonna say I don't even think she'll get to a primary, but she won't make it out the primary.
Okay.
Because you know what, Nikki is pissed that Kamala took her shine.
Yeah, Indian woman too.
Nikki intended to be the first Indian woman president. That was her shine.
And it was a not, well, we know the hierarchies in that culture too. So yeah, she got burned, tore her up.
I'll tell you this. I lost all respect for Nikki when she ran for governor, and Jake E. Knotts of South Carolina, he was a state senator, said about Barack Obama at the time, we already have one towel head in the White House. We don't need one in the governor's mansion.
Wow.
In her own party, and she said nothing.
Wow. Yeah,
and
that's
besides, Nikki, I don't think Nikki can suffer through somebody delves deep into her background check.
That's very true.
So there's a question, and we haven't talked about this one for a while. Cinnamon Canala. I hope I'm getting that right. It's my head, not my heart if I got it wrong. Guys, do you think Joe Biden will be strong enough to run 4 more years? He is 78 now.
Who knows? We have people, my uncle, when people live into their 90s. We don't.
Hey, if Tom Brady really can win Super Bowls at 43,
I mean,
these guys are getting the best health care.
Wasn't Ronald Reagan president until he was like 80 something?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, he was suffering from some dementia, but by all accounts, all of that other stuff, I think Joe faked him out, to be honest with you. I think he played a stellar game with them. Oh, so good. Because now today I'm watching him with his dogs and his wife, and they're on the front lawn. Joe, I'm not seeing, it really was a stuttering problem. And I think it's so great that he mentioned it, because it's like a load is off of him. This is the most comfortable I've ever seen Joe Biden. I've been a big fan of his since like the Anita Hill thing. And even before that, I always liked him. But I think a weight is lifted once he admitted, I have a really bad stutter. And it just sort of, everything just became kind of cool after that, because he always did kind of do that, even from back in the day.
Another question for both of you. Are the majority of Americans comfortable only having white male leadership?
Majority? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It looks like that. Sad to say. Sad to say, but yes.
Wow.
There's a big father complex in America. I don't know what it is. This is a country that's founded on, it's very Cancerian. It's very motherly, very maternal. It's very Shakti energy right now. But this country is so afraid of female energy. It's actually frightening. I mean, it took them how long? Every time a Republican is in, that they want to go up in your body and tell if you should be able to have an abortion or not, and all of this, and the religion, and God is white, and God is white. There's some effed up people in this country that have not evolved. And like I said, they never freaking will. You keep people poor and you keep people uneducated, and this is what you get. This will not change in America for decades. It won't.
And you can also tell that they really don't want women.
They don't want women, any color.
They really don't.
The men here feel completely emasculated by women. I don't even know how women are dating men in America, frankly.
We're gonna stop.
Look how bad we get.
And I'm not even, if I was single, I'd be a lesbian. There's nothing out there.
Look at this. You First Sight is saying on the Periscope platform, America feels comfortable with the white male leadership. Anything else feels foreign to them.
Well, they're going to get dropped off the face of the earth, because the reality is, this new deal that China made with the 14 Asian Pacific, that whole region, it's going to be very, very interesting. What Joe is doing, trying to get everybody back in, really with our tail between our legs. It's a testing ground right now, because nobody believes it. They're like, y'all got some crazy people that, they're even trying to change things about Americans just flying in, traveling now. Like, everybody's like rethought, like, do we want them here? Like, so expect maybe having to get visas to go places again, because, or take a test.
Yeah, a lot of countries don't want us because of what they saw.
Oh, yeah.
Especially on January 6th.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they will be enforcing those rules, like in London,
Canada
of course, or
is.
England, where they come and knock on the door. Are you leaving? Did you leave today? Because you got to leave.
Canada is.
None of that overstaying your visa or going in and out of a country and coming back. That ain't going to happen no more.
Canada doesn't want us to visit, and we're just like, we're on the same continent.
No, we showed our behinds.
Yeah. So here's the question. I like, we could go to this episode's cockroach, or I could bring up a story that probably leads into this episode's cockroach. So Aisha and I, what should I do, Aisha and Jill? What should I do?
You could tell the story first, and then we'll tell who the cockroach is.
Well,
Jill doesn't even know who the cockroach is yet.
So, should I put the story up, or Aisha, do you want to say who the cockroach is, or how you want to handle this?
The cockroach of the week is Justin Timberlake.
So why is he? Why do you ladies refer to him as that this week?
Because all of a sudden, Justin Timberlake this week got it in his head to apologize to Janet Jackson and Britney Spears.
He was getting a lot of heat
for things he did a decade and a half ago.
Right.
Cinema Canal is going, what?
Yeah. And the reason why, because the Super Bowl was on Sunday, aka Janet Jackson Appreciation Day. We know what happened at the Super Bowl, that he performed at the halftime show at Janet Jackson and the little nip slip. And then Britney Spears, there was this documentary, 3-part documentary that came out last week, the week of the Super Bowl, called Framing Britney. And if you haven't seen it, go watch it, and you'll see how Justin kind of used Britney to get his popularity as a solo artist, and like really trashed her big time in the media, and made her look like a tramp, and loose and crazy and all this other stuff, like the crazy girlfriend, so that he could get popular and have his first record go platinum. And that legacy followed her. So people were starting to think that she was crazy, and her family started to buy into the whole thing that Britney was crazy and on drugs and all this other stuff.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, my whole, I know he's kind of cockroachy, but I would advise people to go slowly with, I know everybody wants to help Britney, and they think that she's in some kind of dire, the main issue for that is dealing with conservatorships, which we do have when people become mentally incapacitated. And if they have money, or they have, if they have, who's going to oversee all of these things? And it is a problem from state to state, because each state has different conservatorship laws. But as I have never seen her diagnosis, I won't really comment too much on that. I know that just from it coming out, it doesn't look to me that Britney Spears wants to be back in the limelight.
No.
And I think that people should leave her alone, because I don't think she needs the pressure. And I think what people did to her, by whether it be buying magazines that talked about her, watching her kill herself essentially when she shaved off her hair, all of that, everything that we as a society that has brought us here are those little behaviors. And some people didn't fare too well because of our feeding frenzy with pop culture. And I think it was just a shame, because there was a problem and there was a break in the psyche, it looks like. And the break looks like it might have been strong enough that the person just can't recover. Courts don't tend to take women's children away from them for a very good reason. That boy didn't have enough money to be able to get her kids from her. Something happened. And I don't think we all need to just believe everything the New York Times documentary is saying. But Justin Timberlake, yes, he did exploit it and say that what comes around goes around was about his song. But this is a tough business and everybody does it. Everybody does it. And sometimes some people are just too fragile to know they're kind of being played. Also, when he admitted this on a radio show, which I heard him, it was a lot of peer pressure. And I don't really fault him for going, yeah, I did. I hit that. It was actually the craziness of the guys on the radio station pushing him. And that's just American men. There is something innately wrong with how American men are being raised in the last couple of generations. And sometimes, I've heard a lot of people say to women who are single moms, you're raising a man, not just a son, but a man. And it's time to get some of them to be like that, because that was pretty bad. So the other thing I wanted to bring up, did you guys ever really realize that in West Side Story, when they were singing, I'd Love to Be in America, they were from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico was already in America.
Well, no. Take that back. At that time,
was it not?
State. I don't think it was. I don't think it was. A territory.
Okay, we'll have to look it up.
Have to look that up.
Yeah.
But on the Justin Timberlake thing, I gotta say though, his exploitation of women, because even to the point that he exploited his wife in order to become an actor.
And then he's still not as bad as Armie Hammer, the cannibal.
No. But I think his exploitation of women this week.
Totally.
I look at it this way. It
totally.
wasn't. I call it, the reason I picked him as this week's cockroach is because he wouldn't have apologized had it not been for those two events occurring the same week.
True.
And that's why I chose him as the cockroach.
That's true. And the people coming for him. And he should have apologized. He just has never had the guts. Yeah. And he hasn't had the guts because he has not become a man. Right. I don't care how many damn kids he has. He's not a man.
I gotta give Janet Jackson props, because Janet Jackson said, yeah, he called me. He said he was apologizing, but then he didn't take credit. He blamed other people. He said, I'm sorry, but CBS made me da 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 da. He didn't say, I'm sorry for what I did. That's why when he said he apologized years ago,
I honestly can't hear any more about it. She needs to move on too. Okay, so get over it, girl. It was just a titty.
Just so here we got some comments from you for a site from Periscope. So Justin Timberlake needs a shot of Raid, and then he says that's a difficult one because there were a lot of people cloud chasing after Britney Spears. He also says, that's American men. He says, I always thought there was more going on with Britney Spears than was being reported. And then he also says, but with the news, the way it was back then, it was easy to say she had flipped out, thin to explain.
Flipped out. We saw her flip out.
Yes.
We witnessed it. It was breaking news, and I was in New York, and they showed her driving down Malibu, wherever she went. It was horrendous. It's something that we've never addressed about the media. And here we are back at the media, and I'm standing, we didn't learn anything from when they killed Princess Diana because of their bullshit. And they did it again. They basically killed Britney and everybody else because it's too much. And now the only thing that saved them, social media got rid of paparazzi, essentially.
Yes.
Because people are posting themselves. But is anybody held accountable in America? Because right now I'm beginning to think no. It just unravels to the point of here we are. Sad. We need to stand up and start holding people accountable. Newspapers, media. Rupert Murdoch needs to. They're enemy of the state. Fox News is enemy of the state. His ex-wife Wendy Dang dated Putin. I mean, come on. Rich people hang with rich people. It's enough. Wake up, people. Get rid of that garbage. And the FCC, please do your job.
Yeah, well, hopefully Britney
or whoever does it.
Britney will recover, and we're speaking that she will, because haven't seen much of her in the limelight for a long time.
And you won't. She said she was happy just staying at home and doing her little videos and living, quote unquote, learning how to live a simple life. That was on her Instagram. And if you look at the Instagram, you will know that people need to leave her alone. Short of everybody saying this is what her HIPAA thing says, but I'm serious. I think people are biting off more than she can chew. Okay. But she does need somebody to watch her money. But yet again, a bank to do it. Y'all know how I feel about banks being up in people's money. I don't trust that either.
No. Ladies, any final comments before we call it an episode? Anything we want to comment on? We got the cockroach in. We got Nikki in. We got I can't remember now. Susan, and we got.
I've got news.
Yes. So yes, Aisha has some news. So please share.
Yes, I am the new managing editor of Sister to Sister magazine. They're bringing that back. Yes. And
congratulations.
And News Onyx. Can't forget that. That's the partnering magazine.
So good to hear. I'm excited for you. Congratulations.
So Aisha, there are probably some people that don't know about that publication.
Okay.
So share with us.
Magazine was founded by Jamie Foster Brown back in the 90s. And it was very, very popular. I think the last print publication was in 2003. So this is going to be an online version of it. Yeah.
Oh, good. Are you guys going to do like once a year hard copies or something that people can think about it? It'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fun. This is going to be run by the publisher. His name is Justin V. Barton. And he licensed this from Jamie Foster Brown. It's going to be great. And the soft launch goes out on Sunday.
What?
Yes.
Congratulations. And everyone, I've already made my interview request. So don't worry.
Yes. So on Sunday, you can find it at sis2sis.com. And it's
actually,
sis, the number 2 sis.
Actually, I might need a co-host for that interview. I'm looking for someone who's on the West Coast.
I'm here.
There you go. I'd be honored. That would be amazing.
Sure, it'd be great.
That'd be fun. So before we close out, U4Sight has a good one that both of you will like. Yes, things haven't been the same since the Beverly Hillbillies broke into the White House.
Ain't that the truth?
That's a wonderful closing line.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, they did break into the White House. Really?
Sessions did always look like Granny Clampett to me.
Lord, here she goes.
It did.
Do you have a nickname for? Do you have on your wall their real names and my nicknames for them? Like maybe
I think it's how I remember people. It's like association.
I don't know if I want to hear that live.
But you know what though? The funniest thing though was how Trump used to imitate Jeff Sessions.
Oh,
I know, right? It was really he did.
I'm sorry, that was funny though.
Oh my gosh. So now we have to do another Jill episode. Nicknames.
Nicknames.
Jill Jones nicknames
They
episode.
slide out.
So
Lord.
we have to do the nicknames episode and the UN or the press secretary episode.
Ooh, yes, we got to do that.
we have to do that. Ladies, as always, thank you for making me cry tears of joy.
Thank you.
Do. Thank you for all that you're doing. And as always, we don't end the episode without finding out how people can get a hold of you. So we are going to first go to Jill D. Jones.
Jill D. Jones at Twitter. That's me. And I guess Jill Jones Music at Facebook and on Instagram, Jill Jones Music.
But always the best place is Twitter, though.
It is. It's the fastest.
It's a go-to. All right. Next up, Aisha K. Staggers.
Yes, the best place to find me is on Twitter at Aisha Staggers, capital AISHA, capital STAGGERS. And the artist that Jill worked with that was on Beverly Hillbillies is Tina Marie.
Yes.
There we go. All right. So next up, we got myself. I'm Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 2020 Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. Also, once a month, I host an online conversation, the only one in the world for dads and fathers, that is sponsored by Dove Men Care. And it's also co-sponsored by Dad Central, Canada's national fatherhood organization. I also am the board chair for an organization called the Global Food and Drink Initiative, and it's a multimedia nonprofit that's located in the U.S., but I'm here in Canada, and I'm the board chair. And what that organization does is it spotlights Blacks around the American diaspora, around the diaspora, who are in food, wine, and travel. And that's a great thing that I'm enjoying doing also. I'd like to thank everyone who helped make this an epic conversation. You Foresight, Cinnamon Canela, I think is the first time we had you. Please come on back. We love you. We had Kim. We had Natalia. Natalia's always a committed all-time listener, so we got to shout you out. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Also, remember, love, faith, and respect, and remember to give yourself grace. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith, and we will see you right soon. And take care of yourselves. Stay safe.